of the great rabbis of yesteryear. Now, I believe on the 24th of Kislev, it's reported over, it marks the Hilula of a really great Greece-born rabbi. His name was Rabbi David Conforte Z'tl, one of the great rabbis from Greece. He was born in the English year, approximately 1618, I believe, and passed away in the year 1690. He was about 72 years of age at the time of passing. He passed away, I believe it happened to be on the 24th of Kislev. He would eventually be buried in Egypt. He became a great Egyptian rabbi also. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, he came from a great family of rabbis, descended from a family of rabbis and great Torah scholars in of itself, and he would actually learn under great auspices when he was young, and the many of the great rabbonim of his day, including Rabbi Yehuda Girasi, Rabbi Yisrael Zevi, and also Rabbi Baruch Engel, who was the latter being a Rosh Yeshiva and a great rabbi, let's just say, of Saloniki, and the author of the Shelot and Shuvot called the Rabbi Baruch Engel. Really great books. He had many great rabbonim he was learning from all throughout his life, especially prominent rabbis he learned from included the famous Rabbi Mordechai Kalai, who happened to be a great posek and Rosh Yeshiva of his time, Rabbi Daniel Istrosha, and many other great rabbis. I believe he would at a later stage start learning Kabbalah under Rabbi Yefet HaMitzri, who happened to be, I think he learned a lot of philosophy also from great people, especially the Levi Vasreal, if I'm not mistaken, and he learned under the auspices of Rabbi Shlomo El-Ghazi, another great rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before, who was a great author of many Torah works in of himself, and he would, I believe, also spend time learning from the great rabbis of Turkey, as he would spend some, I believe he spent some time in Turkey also, especially among the auspices of Rabbi Yosef Iskafa, another great rabbi I think mentioned on various occasions before, who was himself a Rosh Yeshiva in Izmir and was one of the great rabbis of that city of Izmir itself and the author of the Rosh Yosef in of itself. Now, it's actually interesting. I think he would actually get married to his wife, who happened to be a relative of Rabbi Menachem Di Laniado, really great person, who we've actually mentioned on various occasions before. He married the granddaughter, Rabbi Menachem Di Lonzano, I believe his name was. He happened to be, I believe, a great Kabbalist and a poet and a scholar, very interesting enough, and was one of the early immigrants in the land of Israel. He himself, I think, passed away in the year 1626, so he learned under great auspices over there, and I think he would travel to the land of Israel in the year 1644. And he would spend some time in Cairo on his way over there. And he learned in the Beit Midrash of Rabbi Abraham Askandari, who was another great rabbi over there. And I believe he would actually move to Gaza at one stage in time and learn under the great rabbi, the great poet, singer, Rabbi Yisrael Najara, a really great rabbi. So it's actually interesting. It was the Talmud of great people in of itself. We can see the level in of itself. Now, it's actually interesting. We spoken about I think one of his early rabbis also happened to be Rabbi Chaim Shabtai also. So it's very interesting. He journeyed, it wasn't his first journey actually to Israel, 1644. I think he went in a second time in the year 1652. And at that point in time, he would go together with his family and settle in Jerusalem. And I believe over there, he would found a Torah, a Beit Midrash in of itself. In 1671, he was in Egypt, where he actually took on a position as a Dayan, a Jewish judge over there. And I believe he was also in Smyrna, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's an ancient Greek city located at a strategic point near the Anatolia, if I'm not mistaken also. Now, it's actually interesting. His main Torah work in of itself was a chronicle known as the Qur'an, or Qur'an, which contains, let's say, the names of all the teachers and writers from the closing period of the Talmud up to his modern day when he was alive. I think it was divided into three parts into itself. The first two were referring to the time period before the Spanish Inquisition. I think that, naturally, we know that was in the year 1492, and they were more short, if I'm not mistaken. The third part is divided into 11 generations at that point in time. And I don't think it was systematically arranged of itself. I think he actually uses earlier historical works inside this work in himself. For example, the Sefer Kabbalah of Rabbi Avram ibn David, who was a great Spanish Jewish, let's say, astronomer, historian, philosopher. Also the Sefer Kabbalah of another great rabbi, Rabbi Abraham Z'kut, another rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. He was a rabbi, actually from the Castile, I think. And there was a Shalshelet HaKabbalah, which was a Torah work from a 16th century Italian Talmudist called Rabbi Gedalia ibn Ben Yosef. Really great rabbis himself. So he would actually base it all there. I think he gathers material from various different printed and manuscripted responsa. And it's actually interesting. His chronicle is considered very valuable for, let's say, history of the Jews in the 16th and 17th centuries. This was a really important time period, 1600 especially. I think very much used, especially for Turkish Jewry, Italy and Africa and the Near East. I think it was probably composed, they predict, in Egypt around the year 1683, if I'm not mistaken also. I think the original manuscript was brought from Egypt by Rabbi David Ashkenazi of Yerushalayim, and which is interesting enough. I think that there was a David Cassel, I think in 1846, happened to be a German historian and Jewish theologian that would actually use it for a later edition, if I'm not mistaken also. I think there's also another great rabbi, Rabbi Gabriel Conforto, who happened to be a Turkish Torah scholar in his own right, a great Talmudic scholar, is mentioned, I think, in the responsa literature of the 17th century. And it was reported that he was probably the son of Rabbi David Conforte, if I'm not mistaken. He actually, I think, so his son, I think his son was Rav Gabriel, if I'm not mistaken also. We see the great rabbis he actually came from, so he actually learned from the auspices of the great Torah book he wrote. Very, very interesting enough. And I would recommend everyone to learn that book in of itself. What a great Torah book it was. He was buried, I believe, he passed away, and in Cairo, at that point in time, was part of the Ottoman Empire. It was in Kislev, naturally, I believe, Chaftal Kislev, in the English year 1690. It was one of the great rabbis of Posek Halacha and a chronicler from Thessaloniki, from Greece, and spent a significant time period in Egypt in of itself. So please, everyone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Read the bibliography of the Torah colossal bibliography in of itself. Learn more about the great rabbi, and please learn more about all these great rabbis who are talking about inside this series in of itself. We've covered probably about 25 rabbis that were from Egypt. And we've covered more than 550 rabbis inside this series in of itself. We are a community here. We're learning about all the great Oriental rabbis of yesteryear. If you happen to be related to any of these great rabbis, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. Subscribe to the channel if you feel anyone wants to listen to this video. Share it with other people. I'm wishing you all well from Israel. Don't forget to light candles in the great rabbi's memory. His Hilula is the 24th of Kislev, the day before Hanukkah. So take care, everyone.